Hi, and welcome to the Motion Coaching video series, and I'm John Spender. Now, over this series, we're going to cover topics like forgiveness, confidence, trust, kindness, and imagination. And what you will get inspired. You'll connect to parts of yourself that maybe you have neglected, that may have become festering sores. This series will empower you to heal yourself, to forgive, to reconnect, to trust, to allow, and to share your gifts and talents, and inspire your community, your network of people, to inspire you to reconnect with yourself, to share your inspiration, your talents, your gifts with the world. So the first part of the series, we'll be covering forgiveness. Are you one of those people, like most of us, that beats yourself up? Really, we're our own worst enemy. We're our own worst enemy in that we get caught in this mind chatter. So first of all, are you able to forgive yourself? Second of all, most of the things that we hold a grudge, and let's face it, we all do at different times. Holding a grudge against someone, it's all in our imagination. That person, most of the time, hasn't done something physically to hurt us. It's through misinterpretation, through miscommunication, and through misalignment that generally we manifest, we create, we invent. We're very creative, inventive of these imaginary hurts. How can we let go of these? To have true connections and focus on what really matters. And thirdly, how can you forgive if someone has caused you some physical pain, has physically hurt you, or treated you a certain way that you just didn't like? And most of the time, it's really a gift for us to go deeper inside ourselves, to discover a strength that we may have not thought existed, proving to ourselves that we can overcome any obstacle. And not so long ago, probably about 2 years ago, I was in Paris and I was staying with a friend in Paris. He lives right in the center of Paris, and I was so stoked and happy to be there. And I stayed in his place. My room overlooked the Eiffel Tower. It was really an amazing spot, and I was just so grateful to be staying with my friend here. It was actually his grandmother's apartment, but she lives part of the year lives in Spain, and she was in Spain. So we had the place to ourselves. And I bought all the groceries and I hired a car so we could actually explore different parts of Paris. And that was great. And I started to get quite successful in doing a lot of traveling, a lot of holidays. And I suspect now I reflect back on that he was getting a little bit jealous. And he came to stay with me in Sydney. And I was traveling somewhere else. I had to go to a seminar or something. I can't quite remember. But I needed someone to look after my place, and it was just perfect timing that he was arriving when I was going overseas, you see. And I said, well, look, I was renting the place. It was here in North Bondi. And it was like $350. It was $375 a week or something. And I said, well, look, just pay me. I had some fish and a cat. I said, just pay me $350 a week. And his friend was coming over with him. and they were just going to look after the place and stay there. And it was much cheaper for them to stay there than actually to go to a backpackers. So they stayed at my place, and he paid 1 week up front, something like that. It was going to stay there for 6 weeks. I was going to be away for 6 weeks. And, it was the last week, and he came up with all these excuses why I didn't have the money. I came back. He'd already left, travelling in North Queensland. And he didn't pay me that last week. He just refused to pay me that last week. And I was just furious when it first happened. And then time settled in, and I was able just to let go of it and just, you know what, like, if the friendship was only worth $350 to him, he wasn't much of a friend in the first place. And sometimes you're going to get that when you're moving forward, when you're actually taking the initiative to live your dream, to live your passion, to live your purpose. People are going to get left behind. And that's just the sad tale of it. And just letting go, moving on, and just forgiving. I just saw it as he didn't have the belief in himself that he could actually live the same life, that he could live his passion, live his purpose. He didn't believe that he could do it. So he would go and do something like that. It was only a small thing. $350, that's all the friendship was worth to him. So people like that, you just have to leave behind. See it from a different angle, see it from a different perspective. And enable you to see it for what it is. I'm now able to actually look on that situation. If I met him, if I saw him again, I'd be like, don't worry, you keep the money. It's obviously more important to you than it is to me. And just move on. So where else can you be more forgiving? Because when you come from that forgiving space, it gives you freedom. Now, you don't need all the money in the world to feel freedom. Freedom of the mind is one of your greatest gifts. Freedom of your mind. Because I could play that story over and over in my mind of how he wronged me. How, he just ruined the friendship over $350. Or I could see it from the bigger picture, that he didn't believe in himself. He didn't believe that he could live a life like that. He didn't feel that he was deserving, or whatever that may be. And I wasn't going to get drawn into that. So what is it for you? Where would you like to be more forgiving? Would you like to come from that forgiving space that enables you to be present, that enables you to be free? And for me, there's forgiving of imaginary things that people might have said or we misinterpreted. That's just a lot of mind chatter. Just forgiving and just saying, well, I know that may have just been my interpretation, or they don't really mean that they are more than that. Now, if it's something that's, obviously happening on a continual basis and they're putting you down, well, that's different. Most of the time, people just want to be supportive. People just want to be there for you. And then forgiveness in areas of like real pain, when someone has actually physically hurt you. Now, I came from a broken home many times over. I've come from severe child abuse. Some nasty, nasty abuse from the ages of 4 to 7, so very young and in the imprint period. And it was a long time because I'd actually developed a personality to protect myself. I put up barriers to protect myself, but those barriers moving forward no longer served me. And I had to actually peel those barriers off to really get to my real essence, to really enable me to see my gifts, to see that I had talents, to see that I deserved to be loved, that I deserved to live the life of my dreams. Because when the people closest to you hurt you, especially physically, that can be one of the hardest forms of forgiveness. And for me, it was just one of those journeys of actually confronting those people that were involved and bringing it to the light, because it was swept underneath the mat. With a lot of things in the past, whether it was sexual abuse, child abuse, whatever that may be, was just swept under the mat. Domestic violence, swept underneath the mat. It was just hush, hush. For me to actually confront my own mother and bring it up, and she was just like, why are you hurting me? Why are you bringing up this? Because she did a lot of great things as well, and there was just a few isolated incidents. But just coming to that place of forgiveness, it's a much better space. And if those things hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have discovered the journey of personal development and really worked on myself, which I've now spent over hundreds of thousands of dollars on my own education, developing myself, working on my inner game, so my outer game is what I desire. So forgiveness is such a powerful tool, because for years I came from that resenting place. When I first decided to uncover, I was doing a lot of drugs, I was self-sabotaging myself, I had a lot of behaviours and beliefs that were not serving me one iota. And I had to really confront that part of myself that I was just hiding deep down inside. And when I got the courage, mustered the strength to look within and then speak to my mother and confront her. And it was one of the hardest things that I had to do. And I know it wasn't easy for her to hear either, because she's just remembering all these great things that she did for me. And I love her so much. People do the best they can with what they have. And sometimes things happen. But it's how we interpret those events and situations that dictate what we manifest, what we hang on to. So just letting go, embracing forgiveness, seeing everything from different points of view. Knowing the worst thing that may have happened to you, you have the power, the strength, the tenacity, the courage to turn it into your greatest gift. And I'm now able to do that. With my successful coaching business. I love helping people, being there for people, doing whatever it takes to get them across the line, whatever that may be. To be an inspirational speaker, sharing my story, helping people to discover their strength, their courage, the part of them that will do whatever it takes to live their dream, their passion, their purpose. And if it wasn't for that space of forgiveness, I would still be hanging on to past hurts. I'll still be punishing myself. Still be in a disempowered state of mind. Forgiveness allows you to let go. Just like you're hanging onto a cup and you just let it go. Let going of that story. Letting go of the past. You are not the wake. You're the boat. You're the master of your own destiny. Thank you. It's been great connecting with you. Look forward to catching up with you next week. Bye for now.